back again. I said I will be back, possibly. I just made like a hour long video live or something like that. I'm on my second patrol, so I don't know. I just kind of felt like blabbing again. But these days, I am a very opinionated individual, and a lot of my passion and the things that I like to talk about are most of them are topics or themes about dating and relationships and stuff like that, I'll say. And I have a lot of passion about this topic, and I'm going to be honest. Even though I have a lot to say, and I know that men that talk about these types of topics, they're people that I see having a problem with men expressing themselves in this way. Men are always judged and shamed, and I've said this in other videos. They're out to be, just angry, bitter men that are angry because women don't want them or don't like them. And have I felt like that before? Yeah, sure. But I understand that those feelings are coming from a place of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And hurt and anger. Have women done things to me that have made me feel insecure? Sure. Finding out that you were betrayed or cheated on. I think that in the past, not so much now, because I realized that had a lot to do with that person more than it had to do with me, whether the person looked better than me or not. But now, me talking about these things, it's more so a thing where I am genuinely interested in growing from things that I experienced in the past, and it's coming from a place of truly again wanting to grow and learn from my mistakes in the past, and even a place of even wanting to improve the dynamic between men and women, so that they can at least understand why men today feel the way that they do. Because a lot of women today, they're complaining that men don't do, men don't provide, men don't protect, men don't approach no more. And again, a lot of women mistake men talking about these talking points as just being angry and bitter. And there's some truth in that. Again, I'm real. I'm not going to sit here and, lie. Like, there are some things that I have experienced in dating that have, left me very angry and bitter in some ways. That does exist, but it's not just that, it's see me, I'm learning to see past that and to take some wisdom and understanding, or extract knowledge from even those. And I feel like I'm genuinely trying to do that, because while I will say that a lot of the things that I've experienced, the lies and the betrayal, I can still see things in those relationships, as I was saying earlier, that I definitely could have done better. And then I am genuinely working on trying to improve about myself, whether it be how I see myself, a direction and a definite direction and course of actions and results that I want for my life, and figure execute that. Like those are just a few things that I can see how a woman might feel uneasy about a future with me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I feel uneasy about it, then of course she would too. And so that's just one example or two examples of things that, I began to think about, that I can see why. Now, it didn't on or, you know, uh, lied to or betrayed, but I can see how it could have contributed to a certain type of energy or dynamic or feeling of being unsure in a relationship. Again, I don't think that justified someone cheating on me, but I can just see how it didn't make the relationship as good as it could have been, And like I was saying in my last, in my last video, sorry, I always try to, even though I may feel very strongly about how I was treated, I always try to, say, well, I could have done this. I could have, that may have, could possibly have changed things, Again, when I make videos and post stuff about, women, and it's kind of like Kevin Samuels. I didn't agree with everything that he said and did, but I genuinely believe that he was trying to help men and women. A lot of women hated him. A lot of women wanted that man to just, not exist anymore. And unfortunately, he is gone. But, again, I don't agree with everything that Kevin Samuels said, and all of his beliefs. For example, like, a lot of men that are doing really well, like, will say things like, if a man is doing really well and gives him the right to cheat and the woman can't say anything. I mean, if they agree on that, then whatever, but I don't care how good a man or woman is doing, if he's paying all the bills or not. I don't feel like because he's a man, that him a cheat and not the woman. Now, I understand that some people might not agree, but me personally, I don't care how well you're doing. I don't care how many options you have as far as beautiful, attractive women. If you marry or date somebody and y'all agree to be mutually exclusive to one another, then that's what it is, Now, if y'all decide to, have an open relationship or, swingers and all that kind of other bullcrap, but that's between y'all. But if you marry somebody or you take vows or y'all agree to be exclusive with each other, and unless y'all dynamic in your relationship, it absolutely is never okay to step out on your partner. No excuses, I don't care, again, how many options you have and, how many, how good you're doing in life. It's never okay to do that and betray somebody like that. Never. So, that's one of the things that I don't agree. But a lot of doing really well in their life, they have this type of, ideology, or even like this ideology of, women just, they just submit on everything when it comes to men. Now, I believe in like a natural submission in kind of like an organic way, not to where it's like, forced, but to where it's just the woman just kind of naturally does roles because she wants to, and it's not like, well, this is your job, this is what you have to do. Like, I don't believe in submission in that way, because a lot of men, they kind of expect it and demand it. But if I have to demand that you do something and I don't know that you want to already do it on your own, then to me, to all right, I'm back. I'm sorry. So, whew, sheesh, it's cold. Shit. No, but no, yeah, I'm gonna make this pretty quick too because I just made like a hour video. I'm trying to overdo it, you know. I don't want to wear myself out. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the main reason why I make these videos or post things or talk about these topics, because I think it matters. I think men talking about their experiences when it comes to dating matters, whether women like hearing it or not, whether, you know, we're shamed and labeled as losers or, you know, I mean, you name it, like, we as men, especially if, you know, you're not considered that aesthetically pleasing, it's like, oh, well, he's just mad because he can't get women, which, I mean, I have had girlfriends. I'm not like the best looking guy, but I definitely get laid from time to time. I definitely have, you know, had dating experiences with women that I would consider to be attractive, you know. So I definitely get laid. I haven't lately, but, you know, well, I mean, I am, well, until recently. That's a different video though, but I mean, I definitely have, you know, have had girlfriends and, you know, have sex and stuff like that. But if you're a man and you're not just considered like a Chad or Tyrone or, you know, a Pookie and Ray Ray type of guy, then it's like you slap this label up. Well, he's just complaining because, you know, he's jealous of other men. It's like, no, a lot of men that are saying these types of things, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, they're all types of men. They're, you know, the best looking men to, you know, anything from, you know, attractive to average looking to, you know, unattractive, you know, whatever you consider that to be, you know, from rich to poor. So it's not just men that look like me or are in my economic status or whatever. It's men all across the board that have the same issues, that are speaking about the same things. I see them online all the time. So it's not just, a thing of unattractive men have, or whatever, men are complaining and they're bitter and they're angry because, women don't want them. It's not a thing about rejection. It has nothing to do with rejection, and I think women need to stop saying that. Stop trying to just pass everything off as, and there'll always be men on the internet that say, well, I don't have that problem, because you have not challenged anything that a woman has, probably because you haven't challenged anything, you just kind of accepted, or just, been kind of like a do boy, like whatever she says goes, whatever she wants. You've never seen what happens if you didn't just completely give in and do whatever that beautiful woman wanted you to do, because you felt like, well, because you had the resources to do it, and that's what a real man does, that, that's what you do. And you haven't actually seen, like, I wonder what happens if I don't just always do what this woman wants me to do, You've always seen the side of her where you're doing what she wants you to do. So you don't know if that woman that you claim is, so high value, you don't know if you're going to get that same, what's up, Yahweh? You don't know if you're going to get that same result if you cease doing those things. And I think that's the difference. A lot of men that are doing really well, which, I mean, congrats to them, they don't know the other version of that person that they're dealing with if they're not doing everything that they want them to do, so I think that's, a completely, it's two different things going on. They have a version of that, of their partner or of that woman in their mind, but they're only experiencing the version of the partner or the person that they're with based off of, doing everything that they want them to do. They don't know what that person is like when, they don't get their way, and again, it's great that they can do that. I'm not knocking the fact that they have the resources and they're successful enough to provide whatever that woman wants. But it's like, okay, well, have you seen what she's like? Or if you're a woman, have you seen what that man is like if you don't give him what he wants when he wants it, or what she wants when she wants? Are they the same person? Most people, they're with a person, they're with a version, or they're with what they believe to be the version of a person of who they are, but they're only with the version of the person, again, in the circumstances that everything is good, everything is comfortable, there's no inconvenience or anything uncomfortable going on. But, I'm a very big believer that any man or woman should test their partner and see, what happens, or if that person changes, if you're not able to, do the things for them. I have a question. Yeah, what's up? It's what happens when you're not able to do the things for that person that you're able to do right now. What happens if, let's say, you go out to like a really expensive restaurant every Friday? What happens if you're trying to save money and do something else, but you say, hey, sweetheart or darling, we can't go out this week, we have to save money? Does he or she flip out on you and start to kind of, not want to hang out because you can't go to these expensive restaurants? Or, does she offer to treat you? Or, what I'm saying? Does her feelings towards you change? Does she start being kind of standoffish? Does she kind of, pull back and, she stops texting you or calling you? Her affection kind of goes away. Like, what happens when, you don't do what she wants you to do all the time? I think every person should try that and see what happens. But yeah, I'm not going to make this one too long. Well, I got some people here now. Can you take a deep breath, hold for a few seconds, breathe out, and think for a few seconds? Yeah, sure. Like right now or like later. Let me take this earpiece out. Actually, let's see. Hold on 1 second, Yahweh. Give me like 1 second. I forgot to end this tour I was doing just now. Um, do I seem like I need to take a deep? Do I seem like I need to take a deep breath? Like, just curious, what made you say that? Was it something I did or said? Oh shit! Oh man, I'm out of coffee. Oh damn. Let's see. Please explain below what I do. Okay. Other scams. Not. Okay, that's done. Okay, so yeah, yeah, was it a reason why you were asking me to do that, or was it a reason? I mean, you know, I think about positive stuff sometimes. I just was having a talking point. Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, I do feel. I mean, I don't work hard, but it's not so much the job. It's I would say it's the lack of free time to do things. I feel like I'm always either just working or sleeping. You know, so I mean, but I don't really have a hard. My job's not hard. It's just I feel like work-life balance is just really important because when you feel like you're just working all the time, even if it's like not hard work, like I feel like it makes your mind feel very anxious, if that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I was just might be kind of weird for the live, but I mean, I can do that. I mean, you know, I am kind of. I mean, I just talk fast too. That's just kind of how I talk. I mean, it's just I don't mean to. It's just I talk like this my entire life. So I think that's part of it too. Um, I kind of have to consciously slow down when I'm talking because I do talk fast. I don't mean to. It's just a thing. But I mean, sometimes that's a factor too, where I just talk fast without really meaning to, and it makes it sound like I'm, you know, anxious. But I mean, sometimes I am anxious though. But that is a thing too. Like I do just talk fast for some weird reason. I don't know why. And I have to kind of remind myself, slow down when I'm talking, so people can actually hear what I'm saying and make out what I'm saying. But I mean, and when you speak, try slowing down just a bit to not overwork. Yeah, I mean yeah, I mean, I mean, I know that, but yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's like I say, it's a thing that I've kind of. It's a speech thing. I mean, I've had it since I was a young child. I mean, and every now and then, people say, "Omar, you gotta slow down when you talk." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, right," but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, you're not forcing yourself to speak. Don't exert. This is your confidence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, too, like my thoughts are probably faster. Like, listen, my thoughts are probably faster than what I'm talking. Like, I literally think a million things at once. So I think that's it too, because when I'm talking, I'm thinking about. I would say, I don't want to say. I mean, I'm just being, exaggerating, obviously, but I think about a lot of stuff at one time, and when I'm trying to express my thoughts, it's like, I will admit, like, my mind is working so much faster than my mouth can keep up with. So I'm trying to like sync up with my mind to where I'm not like, I guess my mouth is trying to like sync up with my mind. So that's to like I'm doing it right now. So like I'm physically trying to keep up with my thoughts while I'm expressing my thoughts. So like I've realized that too. Because if you notice, why do you naturally talk? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Again, I think it's a thing of where I'm thinking faster than what my mouth can keep up with, and it's like, I feel like I think about so many things at one time, and I don't know. I guess like I'm trying to basically express all of it at once, but I can't. So it just comes off or it comes out as talking really fast, So I don't know if that's just a mind thing or something neurological or just something in my mind that I'm kind of doing. I don't know, but I've done it for a long time. I don't know why I do it. I don't mean to. Again, I don't mean to do it. It's just something that I do, and I've known that I've done it for a while. And sometimes I'm conscious of it, and I'll do it less. But sometimes I'll forget that I'm doing it until, something like you'll say something, and then like I'm like, oh God, I'm talking way too fast. They can't understand me, and then I'll like consciously like slow down, like right now. But yeah, I just think it's more mental. I'm thinking too fast. Even like when I'm not talking, like I'm thinking so much shit. It's like the monkey mind. It's like that. You should try to calm yourself down so your brain is naturally triggered. You should try to calm yourself down so your brain isn't naturally triggered. Your speech pattern triggering. Yeah, so you're basically saying that I agree with that. I mean, that's good advice. I can't deny that. I mean, and I've done that in the past, but it's good, I guess, to remind myself to just kind of slow down and breathe and calm down, And I ain't gonna lie, I have not done breathing exercises like meditation and stuff like that, but I haven't really done it in a long time. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like I did it one time, and I don't know, the specific type, but I did it one time. It was years ago, and I got scared because I did it, and I felt like I was literally floating. And I'm not bullshitting you. Like, I swear to goodness, like I was in my apartment and I did like this chakra meditation, and I was really, really focused. I was really like in the zone, and I don't know what happened, but all I know is I started to feel like my body, like I was in lotus position, but all of a sudden I started to feel like my body was tilting to the right and then like to the left. And then I kind of felt like I was kind of like spinning, but I was like it was like something inside my body was moving, and then I felt like my body was shifting and leaning, and then all this okay, we're back. My connection got lost just now, but I was doing a chakra meditation. I can tell you exactly the one that it was. It was basically a video about the avatar, but like you like follow it, like you basically had to follow the cartoon meditation of your chakras, and I did it, and yeah, that happened, and it kind of freaked me out because I literally like felt myself like rising up. It was almost like if you ever had an out of body experience, it felt just like that, except I wasn't laying down, I was in lotus position, and it freaked me out. And let me see, do you have bad anxiety? Like in your voice, it honestly sounds like you're so mentally overworked that it's like it's spilling out at once, and I think you need to put a break. Yeah, I do. I mean, I definitely do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like I said, I got monkey mind. I know what it is. Like I have become I've become aware of my mind is doing stuff that is not good for me. Like I watched this other guy's channel, this guy named SBN, or I think it used to be SBN Nathan, and I watch other channels where other people talk about like their mind, you know, it does things, and it's like your mind does things and tells you things sometimes that you're conscious that is not true, but it's kind of like these intrusive thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But I'm aware of what's going on, but it's just like, you know, sometimes those intrusive thoughts, they seem very real, you know, but I'm aware of what's going on. So, you know, I try to just be aware that these intrusive thoughts that I have are not true. But what you're saying is not false though. But yes, I do have anxiety. Yes, I do. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but that's not, you're not wrong in saying that. If you were, I would tell you, like, I don't have anxiety. Like, no, I do. I think a lot of people have anxiety today. Not just me though. It's a very common thing. But I feel like we judge ourselves more than anybody else though, you know. Because I'm harder on myself than I think anybody else is, you know, and I have to constantly, you know, remind myself that, you know, you're actually doing good, you know, and, you know, I think it's really important that, like, we all give ourselves grace. I don't think most people give themselves enough grace. And I think that's part of where anxiety comes from. Because, you know, like, even like yesterday, you know, I decided that I want to give myself at least one day a week to just not do anything, to be lazy, to be unproductive, to do nothing productive, to just, you know, I don't care if it's just like go to the mall or walk around, or I don't know, go to the park, go skateboarding, you know, I don't know, ride my motorcycle, binge watch something on Netflix. But for some reason in my mind yesterday, even though I had told myself that, I'm like, you know what, it's your one day off, you have one day off a week, I kept believing that I was doing something wrong by like just doing nothing productive. Like, I literally, like, in my mind, I was like, okay, I should probably work on this. But I was like, no, I just decided, I had promised myself that This is my one day off to chill, relax, be lazy, like do nothing. And like it was the weirdest thing. Like I could not just stop. Like I would stop for like 20 or 30 minutes, but in my mind, I kept believing that I needed to do something. I'm like, I work 6 days out the week, 2 jobs. Like my mind just believed that it was doing something terribly wrong by not doing something productive. Like we, as human beings in modern society, we have been conditioned to believe that every moment of our life is supposed to be productive. And don't get me wrong, like being productive in the right time and place, yes, you need to be productive sometimes, but you need to have times where you're just kind of cooling down and, not being productive. If you have bad anxiety, it's really good to take deep breaths and think before you speak. If you are overworked and want to express yourself, you don't here to force yourself to say everything at once. I guess you meant you don't have to force yourself. I guess you meant you don't have to force yourself. Sure. I mean, that I can agree with that. Yeah. Stuck in work. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's why I'm trying to get a different schedule. But I think part of the problem is when you give yourself, because when I was getting more time off, I didn't feel like this. I was way more easygoing. Yeah, when I was getting like 3 days off a week, I was not like this at all. When I was at my last job at Thermo, I was not like this. I mean, I still had my issues, I still had my days, but, I'm my energy, my mood completely changed when I got way more anxious. I probably got way more, I would say negative compared to what I am now, even though I don't label myself as that. Like, I was like, yeah, I was like more like stuff that bothers me now. It didn't even bother me nowhere near as much or not at all when I just had more time to kind of, chill, do my hobbies and, do stuff that I was passionate about. Even like now, like the stuff that I want to do, like even with YouTube, like I get up on Sunday morning, by the time I get up, go to the gym and work out, it's almost like the sun is going down. It's almost time to go to sleep. And even now, like with the change of like the daylight time, it's like that one day off I have to like, a recreation or whatever, it's like it's going by the time I get up basically. So that right there in itself just makes me just feel like mentally just kind of boxed in. And this small room I work out of doesn't make the feeling much better. Even though this job is really easy, I'm thankful that I have an easy job. It's which I'm about to go on vacation again next week and get away. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually go to go somewhere or not, but I'm off like Monday to like Friday. So I'm gonna try to like travel and go to like the mountains or something like that. I don't know, and just get away and kind of just get a cabin or something like that. But yeah, you're right. I feel like I don't have a lot. I feel like I don't have much time for myself. I feel like I don't have much time or energy to work on the things that I want to work on. Like I've been wanting to do so much more with my YouTube channel. I've been wanting to, well, I got my mini bike back. But I'm going to do it though. It's just, man, trying to fit all of your hobbies and, passions into one day it's a challenge, but, yeah, I mean, I got my motorcycle, or my small motorcycle back, and my other one is getting some upgrades to it. So, I want to start making some, some content about doing wheelies and practicing wheelies. I met a few guys on the internet. We're supposed to practice in an empty parking lot. And they've been wondering, like, where you been at? What's been going on? Waiting on you to go practice. I'm like, well, my bike was in the shop, but it's out now. And now it's just a thing of like having the energy to do it, because again, the only day I get off is Sunday. So it's like by the time I get up and, really get up, it's like, golly, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon maybe. And then sometimes I have like chores and stuff like that. So it's just fitting all of your stuff into one day off. It's kind of challenging, but it's possible, it's possible. But I am trying to find something else where I get more time off, or just quit my second job. But I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to just find something that pays more, or finding something part-time where I can just work on, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and getting at least 2 days off at least. Take a deep breath and think about what you really want to get off your chest. Think about for 9 seconds. Yeah. There's a lot. But I think the biggest thing is just, like I was saying in the last video, biggest thing is just execution, executing, just learning how to execute things better. I don't like feeling stuck. I don't know about you, but I get very depressed and anxious when I feel like I'm not executing things when it comes to my goals. I don't know. I think we all kind of feel like this, but for example, like my brand, I feel like that's not really manifesting the way I wanted to. But I also understand that I can't rush that, because there's just certain things I have to figure out how to do, and that just takes time. I am making progress with it, but it's just a lot of things that, I just have to go through the process of learning how to do to make my brand successful. And that just comes with time. But stuff like that, and then too, like, I don't know about you, but me personally, realizing that we only have a finite amount of years in these bodies in a linear time space, point of view, to actually live a full life and experience life and to do the things that we want to do, and just, having the awareness of, we don't have forever in these bodies. And sometimes I just think about that and realize, like, damn, I'm already 36 years old. How long is it going to take me to accomplish, all these things to make my life more like what I want it to be, and just that thought itself causes like an extreme amount of anxiety. It's like, damn, I'm 36. I don't even feel 36, bro. But apparently I am. So I think that, and I think other people too, it's not necessarily a midlife crisis, but it's just realizing how quickly life goes by. And I haven't really experienced half of the things that I wanted to experience in my life. Like I thought that by now I would be at a completely different stage in my life. Like, and I did all the things that I was told to do. I went to school, I graduated, got a job at 16, and I just turned around and one day I was like 36. I'm like, when did that happen? That's how fast it goes by. I feel that same way. Sometimes I feel like it's difficult to accomplish things too, but have you thought for a day just slowing down and really learning on how to properly invest and plan time? I try to invest my time correctly. Like I do things for myself. Like I research stuff all the time. And I definitely had, like, I've been looking into investing. I have been, okay, so the thing with investing is, I'm definitely going to invest, and I have invested some, but, because I was at one point in time last year, I was about to drop like $7,000 into a particular stock, but, the stock, it did, like, there were people projecting a certain, it was actually Bitcoin at the time. I'm sorry, not Bitcoin, but another cryptocurrency. And I was about to go all in, and they were projecting it to do a certain thing at a certain time, and it didn't do it. So like I didn't invest the $7,000 into it. But there's certain stocks and I forget what they're called. It's like a group of stocks that I'm gonna be investing in soon. But yeah, I definitely invest. I'm investing a little bit right now, but I have been trying to learn how to do it properly. I just don't feel very confident doing it on my own right now. With most stocks, now the short-term investing, that's way less of a risk because that's more of like a long-term play. But yeah, I do need to get back on that. I'm just trying to make sure I understand it better. But I know I need to hurry up and get back into it, like NVIDIA, a bunch of AI companies, and I forget what they're called, but it's like a portfolio of stocks. Instead of just investing in one, you will invest in like a certain group of them, certain sectors, and yeah, because like beat making or Instagram, TikTok, or investing in posting content while you're at work. Yeah, I'm learning how to do that stuff. Like I got like a program. I watch YouTube videos. Like I said, there's things I'm working on right now. Yeah, and like I said, I do that. I do that. While I'm here, I have I have my laptop here. I literally bring I have a Wi-Fi because out here we don't get a signal. So like I bring my my internet service here and use it here. I do be working on stuff here. I just I haven't done the investing here. I've been mainly working on my t-shirt brands here, but I do work on. I have a laptop. I bring my laptop to work and I research stuff. It's like I said, it's just finding something to actually invest in and to where like I feel confident. Like I know I have to start investing, but it's just like I just feel like I want to be confident and know what I'm doing, But no, like I do tons of research while I'm here. I'm even trying to figure out how to get some land right now and what I have to have my credit score at to get, so I definitely try to educate myself while I'm here. Like I'll spend damn near my entire shift on my laptop. Like I don't just sit here for 8 hours and not use that time. Matter of fact, I did the same thing at my other job, But no, like I like when I'm not on here, when I'm not, on the internet, like I'm looking, I'm researching, I'm trying to figure out like what to do, how to do it, how they did it, like don't get it twisted. I definitely use my time and my computer to, like, right now I'm just mostly in a state of gathering information and data, and then after I get enough data information, then it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Now I can actually take action, but I don't feel confident enough to just start dropping a bunch of money in certain things yet. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to get properties, how to get a house to like live in and then rent out. I want to get like a condo to rent out and then live in one side, and then eventually I'm going to move out and then rent out both sides, and then use the money from that as income. Or depending on like what the law is like, I may have to keep one side as like a residence, but I can get like a triplex maybe, and then have like 3 units, and then like rent out 2, and then I'm trying to figure out how to do stuff like that. Like that's what me and my uncle were just talking about like a month ago. So I'm working. It's just knowing what you're doing, knowing exactly what you have to do, how much money, when, what, where, and how. It's easy to say you should just do this, but do you actually know how to do it though? Do you mean like just YouTube, or like, now see, I don't know how to use Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, if you have any resources, or I mean, feel free. I got a notepad here. I would write it down. I don't really, the main social media platform that I know of that I can make. I know you can do it on Instagram, but I personally have not. I have not researched how to do that. I've been researching more of YouTube, basically. Well, how do you, again, I haven't looked into Instagram and TikTok, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm here for 8 hours. I mean, after I get off here, I mean, I can look it up and see. Like I said, I have. Hold on 1 second. Let me show you I ain't bullshit. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. You think I'm bullshitting? I don't be here just bullshitting the whole time, like my whole shift. Like, hold on. All right, so look, like when I say when I say like I've got like, let me get the shot out of the way. Hold on. Where's my other glove at? So like, listen. I mean, it's crowded as fucking here. But hold on. Like, listen, I'm bringing this to work, right? This is my bag, right? This is the outlet, right? So look, hold on. When I say that when I be working here, like I'll be working. I don't be bullshitting for 8 hours, man. And I think that's like the frustrating part is I feel like for the amount of work I do, I don't have enough work. I don't have enough results
this is the frustrating part about doing anything for me. This is what discourages me because I don't have a bunch of results to show. You know, I feel like people assume that I'm just like bullshit, and it's like I'm not. Like I actually do a lot of stuff. Like if you can look at my computer and my phone and see how much I work on stuff, you'd be like, damn, this dude really is working. Like, listen, bro, like I'm not bullshitting. Look, this is my internet thing for my house, right? I use this to get a signal because there's hardly no signal out here. Like I be out here working, man. I mean, I'm on the internet a lot, but like, bro, I work a lot. Like, hold on, I'm kind of hold on one second, y'all. I gotta get this out of the way. Like when I say I be doing stuff, like, and I've been working like this for a while. Like I've been working like this for a long time. Like. Put this up here. Hold on. This is like just all in the way. Yeah, I've been working like this for a while now. But listen though, I bring this to work every day. This bag, right? My laptop. Ever since I've gotten this laptop, and before I had this, I was using my cell phone. So when I say I be working, like I be working, man. Like I just, like I said, the frustrating part about it is when you don't have a bunch of results and stuff to show. It's like people just, they feel like you're wasting your time. I'm like, no, like that's not it at all. You know. But like I be here working, you know. When I'm not on here, I be here working. Now I will say I didn't work last night because like last night is like the first. I mean, last Thursday was the first night I didn't use this. I just kind of zoned out. Let's see. It will benefit. Choose to invest time in all if you really. That can match the. Yeah, I'm realizing that more. I keep forgetting that like certain things. But yeah, you're right though. I need to because I'm realizing like a lot of people that channel is growing. I'm like they're not talking about necessarily anything super, you know, different than everybody else. They're just like using like little videos and stuff to like get the algorithm to respond. I'm like that shit really is true though. Watch the algorithms and see what content people make and replicate that style to get in the algorithm while also building up a following or support. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I mean, you're saying good stuff. And I said I was gonna do that and I started doing it and then I just kind of started, you know, doing it my old way. But yeah, to get you know, things moving, you know, you gotta, you know, and I don't necessarily like doing it that way, but it's like, you know, hey, that's what gets results and whatever, I guess. But yeah, you're not wrong though. You're not wrong. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, let me get my cord out real quick. And hold on one second. Sorry, y'all. Like my nose is kind of the camera's kind of turned the other way, or was because my allergies have been acting up. My nose has been kind of runny, so that's the reason why I haven't really been, you know, in the camera today because I've been just kind of having. You know, an allergy attack. I don't know. I don't feel that great today, but that's why I haven't really been on camera too much, and I feel like my nose is running way too much. But you know, I got my cord right here.
And yeah, so but yeah, man, I be in here, man. I be working, man. Like I be in here just like I said, putting in work and trying to get stuff done. But like I said, it's not even about doing work. It's about executing stuff, you know, like because anybody can like do work, but it's like, does your work mean anything? Is it actually accomplishing anything? You know, when I say like being more strategic, it's about like doing stuff that actually accomplishes the goal that you're trying. Like anybody can look busy, anybody can look productive, but it's like, you know, oh wow, candy. It ain't mine, but it's somebody's. But it's like, can you like actually do stuff that matters, basically? You know, there's what you're doing. Is it actually accomplishing anything, or are you just trying to like, you know, look productive? You know, a lot of people just try to look productive so that they feel like they're doing something that matters when they're not accomplishing nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like that. I want to actually do the work, but actually get results. You know, if I'm not getting results, it's like not doing the work. It's like you didn't do anything. You know, I want results, and I want results, and I want to execute. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, it's not about just, you know, being productive, but it's about like actually making shit happen. If I'm not making shit happen, it ain't for nothing. It's pointless, you know. And I know it takes some time, but I feel like I've been doing a lot of work, but I haven't been really executing. And again, I just want to make sure that what I'm doing now going forward, I'm actually accomplishing something. I'm not just working and looking busy and looking productive. You know, it's great to be productive, but if you're not accomplishing nothing, what are you doing? You know, that's the thing. A lot of people on the internet, they talk about being productive, but it's like, but does it translate to results though? You know, are you getting farther from when you first started? So, you know, if that ain't it, then at some point it's like, well, okay, what are we doing here? So, yeah. All right. But yeah, so I got my little office, and I even got like a fucking notepad and pens while I'm here sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm not a lazy person. I just gotta get better at executing shit. You know, once I get that part, you know, once I get that down and figured out, I'm good. You know. All right, so my nose is kind of like running still, so I don't want to be in the camera so much. Looking weird. Okay, let's see. Have you also thought of trying something to comfort you while at work? I know you go live to, hold on. Watch that. Okay, I already read that. Something, not someone. Have you also thought of having something to comfort you while at work? I know you go live because it helps express yourself, but have you thought of having something that will help you unwind? I know of some things, but I can't do it at work. Yeah, I know of something. I can't do it here though. Let's see. I try to be productive too. That's why I also asked you to slow down. It seemed like you had too much going on, but didn't take the time. Oh, so you mean like something as far as like to kind of like make me calm down? Um, I want to be honest. Like, well, I don't want to say too much on here because I don't know who all watches these videos. But you know, like I said, my main way I calm down is I try not to do this as much, but you know, a little greenery. But even with that, I try not to be in that state all the time because I don't want to become too dependent on that. So even with that, I try to kind of limit that. Um, like I said, when I had more time off, I used to, and when my schedule was different, I used to do things like go to the park, um, you know, go to the skate park. That was, if y'all remember, like back in the past, kind of a little bit, I used to like go to the park before work, and I would go to the skate park a lot. I used to do that, and that used to really help me out a whole lot. Again, like you know, like I said, with me having less time, it's a lot more difficult, you know. And again, my sleep pattern, it's way different too. So my body is kind of always in this anxious, stressed out state where you know I'm probably releasing more cortisol because I'm, you know, this third shift. I can't go straight to sleep when I get home, and a lot of times too, when I go home, I'm trying to sleep. You know, people are calling me, like you know, sometimes businesses are calling me, and I'm waking up. And once I wake up, I can't necessarily get back to sleep and stay asleep. So a lot of times my sleep is getting interrupted, which kind of just it's just not good. It's not good. Then you know sometimes you know people they need me to get up and do stuff, and you know I end up getting like you know 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep, maybe if I'm lucky. It's just it's kind of crazy, but you know. Turn this light off again. I mean, like gum. Um, yeah. I mean, I actually used to use gum a lot. That kind of helps sometimes, I guess. Yeah, well, I just started. I will say this: I just started to. I got this tea, and I think what I'm going to start doing is drinking it before I get off, like an hour or so before I get off. So by the time I get home, you know, it's kind of already in my system. So when I get home, I can kind of just get to bed earlier. Because when I get home, when I take it, I'll be home. So I leave here. I get off here at like 6, right? So it takes me about roughly 45 minutes to an hour to get home, maybe a little bit less. So by the time I get home, it's roughly 7 a.m. By the time I actually walk into the door and sit down and, you know what I'm saying, it's like 7:20, 7:30, something like that. Then I'll, you know, let my dog out, you know. So, you know, roughly 8 a.m. before I actually sit down and get a drink. By the time I drink it, I can drink earlier, but by the time I actually drink it, by the time it actually starts to settle in, I'm gonna say it takes anywhere from hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours maybe, if I'm estimating. I don't know what the halftime of the herbs are, but you know, something like that. You know, so we're talking about 8, 9, 10. So really, I don't get to bed. It's like roughly 10, estimating. And I try to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep. You know, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So perfect scenario, I get up at 6 p.m. I come back here at 10 p.m. and work from 10 to 6. So I have time, and I can go to sleep earlier if I could just get to sleep and stay asleep. The problem is when I finally get to sleep, I'll be getting up, and I may have been asleep for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I try to make myself fall back to sleep, but sometimes I can't. And then when I finally get back to sleep, it's like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4. So then I'll get up and, get some lunch and then try to sleep again. By the time I actually get back to sleep, it's like 6. So I may sleep from like 6 to 7 or 8 or 9, maybe. But like I'm getting some sleep, but it's not like a full 6 or 8 hours of rest. It's like maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I wake up and I can't get back to sleep. Then I'll finally get back to sleep, but it's like 6 p.m. and then I'll sleep from like 6 to like 8:30 or 9. And that's how it's been like the past, since I started here, basically. So I'm not really getting rest. I'm just kind of getting little naps, basically, And I'm trying to get to where I can stay asleep. Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah, that's the problem right now. And then too, like there's days where like, sometimes, my dad, he's blind, he can't see, so he'll call me, he'll be like, hey, can you give me a ride here? I'm like, yeah. Or like the other week, my sister, she was sick, and they needed me to drive her car to, my little niece's was with her. My little niece called my mom, and, my mother, my dad asked me to, go get a car for her and drive her home. So I drove her home in her car and it was like, it was pretty early, and I hadn't even gotten sleep yet. But it's my little niece and my sister, so I'm not going to say no because I don't want her to get into a wreck or anything. So stuff like that comes up sometimes. My sister needed help moving. What I'm saying? This stuff comes up, and this is like during the day, and I haven't even gotten sleep yet. But I understand because stuff happens. Like, so it is what it is. But it's just Then the other day, like my motorcycle, I had to take that back to the shop. I found out there was something wrong with the engine mount, so that's getting worked on right now. They'll call me at like 10 a.m. like, hey, your bike's done. Come and get it. And I'm like just really falling asleep good. So I have to go down there, get it, and then have to get a ride down there and drive back home. So by the time I get it back, it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I might sleep from like 2 to like 7, maybe like 5 hours of sleep, then get up. It's just stuff like that. When you work in third shift, it's just it's kind of hectic. But I mean, I do my best. I do my best to get to sleep. But I'm going to try to start getting to sleep earlier until I can get a different schedule. Because I mean, again, like I said, this job, it's very easy. No one's like bothering me and stressing me out. It's just your sleep pattern is getting interfered with, and that's the main thing with this job. But I can't complain because at least right now it's very easy. Now this company is not operating yet. It's not really open yet. They're going to open up sometime next year. So after they open up, I believe it's going to be busier. So after that, I'm going to probably have a little bit more responsibilities, and there's going to probably be more to do. But whenever that happens is whenever that happens. I haven't even gotten trained on when they actually, I would imagine it'll be like more paperwork for, signing the drivers and stuff in, and when they come in and then when they go out. So it'll probably be more of like a check-in, check-out process. Like right now, we just kind of just watched a lot. But after they actually get up and running, which will be sometime next year, we'll probably have to start keeping track of like the loads and the inbound and outbound times and stuff like that. May have to go inside and do indoor rounds and stuff like that, I would imagine. So my job here probably will be changing some. So I'll have more to do, but it shouldn't be too crazy, But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's just one of the things about third shift, you know. But like I said, I'm managing best I can, and I'm looking, trying to find something where I can get, more time. Like at least get 2 days off during the week. I would prefer three. Like I would rather work, if I can find a way to work my schedule out where I can, work before I come into work here during the week. I'll even do that rather than, work 6 days a week. If I can work like, I don't know, maybe like let's say I get off here at like 6. If I can work like I don't know, 1 to 8 or something like that, I can get like 6 hours of sleep in the morning and then go in somewhere from like 1 to 8. You know what I'm saying? If I can do something like that somewhere, like I can still, make enough hours and then, have like Friday or Saturday and Sunday off, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, something like that, and just work two jobs during the week. I would do that, As long as I get at least like 5 or 6 hours of sleep every day. If I get like 2 to 3 days off a week, like that's a good schedule for me, Like I can do that. Have you thought of resetting your brain, Bestie? They like really actually charge changing how every day for you goes. I mean, ideally, yeah, I try to. But I mean, I think it's easier said than done. But periodically, yes, I do try resetting my mind, my thought process. That's my intention. But life is lifing, and But no, I do. I try to reset my mind. But it's a little bit easier said than done. I mean. But I do, like, I'll put it this way, I try to be aware of my thought patterns and what I'm thinking about. I'll put it that way. If I died right now, oh man. Have I thought about it? Yes, I've thought about it a lot, actually. I think about that kind of stuff all the time. I wonder if I died right now, if I would just basically just, kind of jump into some, quantum parallel version of my life. Would I just continue to just, live in a parallel version of my current existence? I'm not really sure. But yes, I do think about that sometimes. What if you got King Von by a crash out as we speak? Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of feel like I've already died before. I feel like I've died before, and again, I don't know for a fact, but I feel like I've died before, and quantumly speaking, I just continue living. Think about being one with the worms. I mean, again, I kind of remember dying, and all I can really remember about it is space and time kind of folded in on itself, and my present reality at the time turned into a dream, then turned back into, my present life. So I would like to say that I've already died, but I can't prove it. But I feel like I've died multiple times in this, I guess you can say, this life. Like, I remember dying at least twice. Or at least like 2 or 3 times. Then I've had like a car wreck where I don't know how in the world I could have possibly survived it. My car like spun out like 4 times on a highway going like 70 or 80 miles an hour. I'm like, there's no way like some tractor trailer didn't hit me. Like some near death type shit. Like I'm like after I got the car, I was like, it was this weird feeling like I died, but like I just kind of kept going. You know what I'm saying? Like I basically hydroplaned on the highway. Like that's where this came from. This is where this on my car came from. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I got this right here. Can't tell, but that's how that happened. Like the metal part from, you know, those metal things, and this right here. Like the metal things on the side of the road literally like cut into my car. I spun around like, I would say like 5, 6 times. And then I finally like, by the time my car had stopped spinning, my car was literally like facing into the rail, completely opposite of the actual road. Like, I don't know how in the world, like, I didn't die that day. I'm like, when it happened so fast, I was just driving, and then all of a sudden, like, the car just started drifting, you know, and I'm like, oh my God. And before I knew it, by the time I realized that the car was hydroplaning, it was too late. I was already going sideways, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm about to die. And again, I don't know how I didn't like get obliterated that day. I'm like, there's no way. I'm on a highway. On a highway, like I think it was like maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, maybe something like that. But it was a lot of traffic out. It was raining, and I'm like, how did none of these cars hit me? The last thing I remember was like, you know, I just remember like a bunch of water just covered my windshield and I couldn't see anything. And when that happened, I'm just like, bruh, like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do realize how many people have dreams bigger than yours that pass away in car accidents and they're younger than you. You know what's crazy though? Like, I used to always have dreams about like being in a car accident and dying. That's the weird part about it. You know, I used to before that happened, I used to have like periodically, I would have a dream about, and I think I'm not the only one. I mean, I think people have had these dreams before, but I had them I would just have them like out of nowhere. And it would always be like me in first person, like being behind the wheel of a car and just seeing the car like go into a ditch. And then like I would hear like this sound like bing, like this weird like you know the sound, like this high pitched sound, and then I would wake up. And I used to just randomly have that dream. And in the dream, I thought that for some reason I thought that I kept falling asleep. Like it was like, for whatever reason, I remember like falling asleep or being asleep, but I was trying to wake myself up before I actually crashed. But in the dream, I would always crash before I could wake myself up, and then the dream would end. But I used to have that dream all the time. It's crazy. So I don't know if that was something, you know, significant or not, but you know, it was crazy. Whenever it happened, it just seemed like it was something significant. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting. That means you need to get your sleep together. I agree. I think too, like the less sleep I get, yeah, I think the guy that actually works here, I think he fell asleep too because he has a car and one day, or he got to an accident But I know whenever I come here, he be bless his heart, he be sleeping sometimes. I'm like, I ain't gonna say shit because I get it, because he works 2 jobs too. He has on like a second uniform, so like I've come in a couple times and like I've caught him sleeping, when it's time for him to go, and I just like wake him up like, hey bro, your shift's over. I say I get it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he don't sleep the whole shift, but probably like when he's waiting on me to come, he probably kind of dozes off. But it's sad that so many people are living like that, working 2 jobs and just that exhausted. I wish I owned a company where I could, give people good schedules and pay them good, so they didn't have to work like that. And if I ever, I'll say when I'm in the position, if someone ever does work for me, I want to just be that type of employment situation where people can get enough time off, and they can get paid good. Like if people have to work, if they do work for me, I want people to have time off for themselves and make enough money to live comfortably. So I've always wanted, that's one of the main biggest reasons why I've ever wanted to just be so successful, is so that if people did have to work for me, it's like you're going to get paid really good and you're going to have enough time off, during the week to enjoy life and have enough time to go on vacations, and what I'm saying, like, and live good. I don't believe in people just getting paid. I understand there's like budgets and stuff like that, but anything's possible, I'd rather make less money and have happy employees that have better. I'm not just bullshitting. Like, I really believe in this, and use less money to invest in more things and have a solid, workforce that are happy and healthy. You know what I'm saying? Plus, if people ain't healthy, they're not gonna want to keep working for you. They want to quit, and then they're gonna want to go somewhere else, and then you're gonna have to keep rehiring people, and then your costs are going to go up because you're gonna have to keep training people and invest in getting more workers. When you have happy employees, like, the energy is good around you, like, they actually are more productive, and they're just, everything works more efficiently when you have people that are actually happy where they're at and not just miserable having to come to work, like, but yeah, it's really important to get enough sleep. And like I said, the guy that works here, his car was in good shape. One day I came to work, the left side of his car or the right side of his car, the backup was all fucked up. So I'm thinking that he either fell asleep or he got into a car accident. There has been plenty of days where I've almost, fallen asleep coming from Waffle House going home. So I know I have to literally like talk myself to staying awake some days. And yeah, it can be dangerous. And it's like when you get super tired, like, I literally have to do things like pull the window down, or if it gets too bad, if it gets really, really bad, I could be like, 10 minutes from the house, but I'll stop at a gas station, take like a 10-minute nap, and then, go home. Rather than risk falling asleep and crashing, I've had to do that before. Because I was that tired. There's been times where I've literally caught myself blacking out, and then like I kind of caught myself, and then like I was, but yeah, when that starts happening, it's dangerous. Your body is telling you like you need to shut it down, bro. It's that time. Well, like lately I've been trying to drink like beet juice, or beet juice. For trying to improve like my blood pressure and stuff like that. But normally I drink like these things called Sparkle. They're like sugar free. So I've been trying to stay away from sugar. beverages. So I drink like the sparkle sugar-free drinks or water. I drink tea every now and then, but yeah, mainly like those sparkle drinks, sugar-free. Um, and then, like I said, I've been drinking like beet juice. Lately, it's good for like your it's good for like your blood pressure and your circulation. So I've been doing that. Yeah. My bad. Hold on 1 second. Let me uh am I properly hydrated? I had a cue. Am I sorry, I had to my connection was lost or something. Am I properly hydrated? That's a good question. Um Honestly, I've been doing a little bit of research and I've heard that water is good, but there's other things that like watermelon and other beverages like coconut water that have more electrolytes. So I'm gonna probably switch it up a little bit because water, I think a lot of it has to do with electrolytes and keeping your your pH and everything right. So I'm gonna start drinking water, but I mean I'm gonna keep drinking water, but try incorporating other things like watermelon or watermelon juice and coconut water. Because I've heard that those can be potentially more effective as for hydrating, and then just water. So am I adequately hydrated? I don't know. I haven't been to the doctor in a while. At least not for that. Probably should go though.
Um, but I try to eat healthy. I try to stay away from sugary foods, but I will say like drinking coffee a lot. I do drink a lot of coffee. So I'm thinking that's kind of starting to catch up to me, if I'm being honest. Um, I'm just, I don't know if I drink coffee more as like a habit, but I do feel like I need the energy. But, I know that there's other things that I can do for energy. It's just doing it like coffee is just more convenient because it's like you just stop at the gas station and get a cup. But I have heard of other things that are better for you, like chlorophyll and stuff like that, and green tea. So I gotta just do it. I know that drinking too much coffee is not good for me. I can't even make an excuse. Like, I know, especially with the sugar, you know. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, some things I know I just have not started. Like, there's some things I have implemented, and then there's some things I know I just haven't taken the time to do it. Like, getting this other, I can't like a lot of the other stuff, like not drinking coffee, getting a substitute for coffee. Like, I think what I'm going to do though is invest in getting like this thing called mud water, which is like way better for you than coffee, and it's got a lot of benefits to it. It's a little pricey, but it's actually got health benefits to it. So I think I'm gonna, maybe not this check, but like next check, get like this thing called mud water, and then see how that does. And then because it has all kind of adaptogens and stuff like that, it gives you energy, and it's good for you. It has a lot of things that can repair a lot of things in your body if they're out of balance, or it can, it's good for your heart, your hormones and your stress levels. So I think I'm gonna, it's literally kind of marketed to be like a substitute for coffee and give you natural energy. So I think what I'm going to do is try that, and that's going to be my, and then too, because it costs more, I won't drink too much of it, So I think, but you're right though. I gotta start just, because I've already decided to do and I don't know why I haven't bought that product yet, because I've researched it and I've heard lots of good things about it, and I see hear how good it is for you, compared to coffee. And I don't know. I gotta stop. Like I said, there's sometimes I do be just bullshit. I ain't gonna lie. Like stuff like that, I know. Like I've said 1,000 times. Like coffee is not good for you to drink it so much. When there's other alternatives that are actually good for me. So I mean, some things like I said, I be doing myself. I can't even lie. Like it's I gotta, Yeah, and I think that's part of the issue. I'll drink a big cup of coffee when I go to, Waffle House, and I'll drink a cup of coffee on the way to work to here, and I just know, how you can just kind of tell, you can kind of sense that certain things are over time kind of just not good for you. That's what it kind of seems like. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the problem. I do. So, matter of fact, I might look up, that mud water tonight and see, if I can just order some off Amazon or something like that. That way I got some hopefully by tomorrow or the next day. Because, I definitely got to start, And like I said, I have made changes with my diet, but to get the kind of results that I'm wanting, it's going to come down to getting good sleep. Because you can eat, you can work out a lot, but if you're not getting enough sleep, and if you're not getting eating right or eating enough, even you can work out all day and you won't gain no weight. I mean, you won't lose no weight. And if you're not getting enough sleep, your body will keep releasing an excess amount of cortisol, which will make it extremely hard to lose weight. Just by not getting enough sleep, it makes it extremely hard, if not impossible, to lose weight. Like your body is literally like a machine, you know. Everything has to be in sync for you to get the results you want or have the ideal level of fitness and health. You know, if yours, you know, lacking in one area like sleep or diet and exercise, it ain't gonna work. Do I enjoy it? I don't have anyone else to talk to while I'm here. So yeah, it's good to have someone to conversate with. Of course. I mean, ain't nobody else here. The only real interaction I get when it comes to conversation, unless I'm dating somebody or something like that, is, you know, people I talk to on here, or when I go to work at Waffle House. You know, the staff there talks to me. I don't really hang out with nobody like that. Like I said, I you know, so yeah, it's always good to, you know, have someone to conversate with, of course, yeah. You know. You know, you're always talking about interesting things and, you know, deep types of conversations and stuff like that. I mean, you kind of rubbed me wrong. Well, I don't know if it was you or Lucas. It was one of y'all. A couple of times you kind of said a few things that kind of, you know, rubbed me the wrong way. But I'm like, whatever. I don't really hold on to stuff too much. But for the most part, though, like, yeah, I feel like you talk about really interesting topics and stuff. So yeah, I appreciate talking to you. Absolutely. No, I give shout outs to you from time to time on here in my videos when I mention people that talk, and when I mention, you know, the people that, the very few people that actually watch the videos, I give you a shout out from time to time and thanking you for your conversation and your interaction and your dialogue, or whatever you want to call it. You know, I'll let people know that I appreciate your conversation, basically. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. I thought my battery was almost dead. But it's you know, I mean, I wanted this channel to be a place where people could, you know, talk and, you know, just have a place to, you know, feel heard. That was part of one of the reasons why I made this channel. Even if it didn't go that way, at least not right now, you know, I still hopefully can get it to be that. That was kind of one of the reasons why I started going live, so I could actually try to engage with people in real time and actually, you know, talk to them and, you know, see how things are going. Because it's a lot of people in the world that are just, they don't really have much interaction with people. I look at a lot of people, whether it's just guys, women, I mean, it's both. You know, I know there's an epidemic of lonely people, you know, and, you know, and yes, it's still from behind a screen, but I think it's different when you interact with someone in real time than just watch their video, you know. I think it makes a huge difference if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, hey, how was your day? What'd you do today? You know, anything new this week? How's things going? You know, like, that's
even though it's from behind the screen, like it's real life, like interaction opposed to like just, watching a video. And yeah, I don't know, but that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, I could tell you don't have a lot of people to vent to as much, so I want it to be. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to necessarily like just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be that guy that is just like super, super heavy necessarily and just unloads just depressing stuff the whole time. But yeah, it does feel good to just vent, and I would like people to be able to vent to me and feel heard, like that's I think that makes the world a little bit, better, even if it's just some people just want to be heard. I see lots of channels where guys are like, I don't have anyone to talk to or no one that understands. I'm like, I've said on this channel, like, if you need someone to listen, like, just let me know. Like, I'll sit here and listen to you like my entire shift, like, and that's why I say even at like my job, like, I used to kind of be the person where I just didn't want to deal with anybody, but I kind of just started to sense and realize that when you kind of just can look at somebody and tell like this person, they don't really have anyone to talk to. They're, you can just kind of sense it. I don't know how. I can just sense certain shit about people. I just catch like subtle cues about them, and I'm just a really like I can't really explain it, but I just really I just know shit. I don't know. I just know shit. And I used to think that I was just assuming things, but I kept getting confirmation. Long story short, I could just tell when someone just needs a simple, hey, how's it going? A smile, handshake, whatever. Just to let them know that, people are still real. We see you, you matter, even if it's just in subtle ways like that, Like, I feel like if we stop interacting at all, like, the world is going to be just dead. Like, sometimes it's just a small, like, conversation that, can keep people from going off the deep end, And it's happened to me before, I've been just feeling like shit. It could have been something crazy or, I don't know what it was, but I've had days like that where someone out of nowhere was just like, hey, man, it's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Complete stranger. And because they said that, I felt better. They didn't have to say that. But the fact that they were a stranger and they actually could look at me and, I didn't ask for it. I wasn't looking for sympathy, but they could just look at me and tell that I was going through something, and they cared enough to just encourage me. Like, that meant something to me, So anyway, yeah, like I said, I enjoy the conversations too. Like I said, I try to, be engaging. I hope this over time, more people, come. I'm going to try that stuff you said, and with the alternative, because you are right. You are right about the coffee and the breathing and the algorithm and stuff. So I'm going to get on here shortly and look on Amazon and try to order some that mud water, the coffee alternative, and then get up a little bit earlier and look into how to go about doing the stuff for TikTok and kind of catching the algorithm, and I'm willing to invest in it, and also learning how to edit videos. Because I have a laptop now, so I don't have an excuse if I can't do it. I have a laptop now. So I literally don't have any excuse, But yeah, definitely. And Yahweh, you are a dude, right? Just making sure. You are a male, right? It's already stressful, mostly bottled up and not having it expressed properly, and some people don't deserve to be forced to carry it around all the time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, my main thing is sometimes it's really hard to stay aware because it's these thoughts and emotions kind of, it's very, very tricky sometimes and subtle. And the biggest thing that helps me is to be aware of, or to become aware that, my mind is doing that thing again where my intrusive thoughts are causing me issues. And, maybe it's self-doubt or, just negative, whatever, just thoughts that are just affect negatively. And I have to become aware that it's going on. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Having an awareness to observe, the thoughts and be aware that, you're not these thoughts. These are thoughts coming into your mind, your subconscious mind. And, oh yeah, these are affecting me. These are sometimes affecting how I act and how I, move through life, and not to be tricked into believing some of these intrusive thoughts. That's what kind of brings me back to that, space of, infinite possibility. You can it's easy to get stuck. It's very tricky. The mind is very tricky. It's a very tricky thing. That's why mindfulness does matter. It is important to be mindful. So, but yeah, I that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true though. Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to get rid of those emotions and those feelings when you're carrying them around. It's tricky because even, oh god, this is getting hot. This is a good heater, but god damn, it's hot. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm about to take this last. Give me 1 second, all right? Yahweh, hold that thought, all right? Because it's almost time for our last round, and I think I want to. We can keep talking if you want to keep talking. I'm about to just put this stuff up real quick, and then head out and do my last round. So give me 1 second. But yeah, it's just tricky. It's a tricky thing, and I think one of my biggest things is, I think we all go through this. I doubt myself. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I just question myself. And I know that it's not good, and I don't mean to, but I always find a way to kind of come out of that. I have a hard time. I can get motivated, but I have a hard time staying motivated. You know what I'm saying? Because again, my mind starts doing things, trick me out of what I'm doing.
a lot of this stuff that I talked about earlier, just a lot of times I'll be comparing myself, I'll be comparing myself for not being farther along in the process or my goals. I'll see other people that seemingly are farther ahead, and just being way too hard on myself. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Feeling like time. Oh shit! Feeling like time is going by too fast. Feeling like time is feeling like I don't have enough time to accomplish my goals and live the life I want to live and have the experiences I want to have before it's too late. Then getting depressed and feeling like I don't want to do it no more because it's going to take too long. And then I go through these cycles of like getting motivated, getting some momentum, start doing stuff, and then the intrusive thoughts come, and then I end up procrastinating, and then I'll get back on it again, and then I'll get motivated again, and then something happen, and then I get discouraged. It's like that thing. It's like it goes like that. It's very, very. Like I said, I get stuff done, but it's like staying motivated consistently. And then like I'll say this, like when I come to a point in the process where I just don't know what to do next, or I get stuck, I'll just completely stop. Like right now, like I'm trying to figure out how to get these designs to come out exactly as I want them, and I'm learning how to basically design stuff on chat. But it's taken a lot of times and a lot of tries to just to get one design to come out exactly as I want it to. So I'm getting frustrated and discouraged with creating designs, and it's making like last Thursday. Normally I will be in here working on the design all week, but because I was just discouraged, I didn't work on it at all last week. I mean, I didn't work on it at all last Thursday, but I did like work on it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but just not Thursday, stuff like that. It's discouraging to me, and it just makes it to where I feel like I don't really, sometimes I feel like I don't know why I'm trying so hard, even though I do. Dang, my feet are cold now. Shoot. But stuff like that, and then it's like I said, it's the comparison. But I know that's just a lot of people on the internet, make it seem like one way when really it's not. So, but I think the biggest thing is just, again, I'm way harder on myself than what I should be. And sometimes, it's good to be hard on yourself, but then sometimes, like I said, you have to have that proper balance of grace, and then you have to have a balance of, okay, you can go a little bit harder. Sometimes I'm way, way too hard on myself. I feel like 70% of the time, at least, I'm way too hard on myself. Like I don't acknowledge, how far I've came enough, Like I've accomplished a lot. Like I have, I've done a lot, especially compared to where I used to be at, I mean, in more ways than one, So, but yeah, those are my triggers. And like I said, All right. Yeah. So I'm about to actually end this live because I actually have my gloves on, so it's kind of hard to Okay. Yeah. I was just saying I'm about to actually end this live, Yahweh, because I got my gloves on because it's so cold out here, and it looks like some of the managers or something around here. Managers are out here or whatever. But I'm about to end this live. But I'm pretty sure I'll be back on later on to in other words, my next shift. But I'm about to go ahead and end this live. And the biggest thing is it's cold as fuck out here, and I got these gloves on. It's kind of hard to use my phone with my gloves on. So, but yeah, man, it was good talking to you. I appreciate you, conversating as always. And like I said, I'll probably be back on when I come back in tonight. So if you're on, I'll probably get on probably like around 12:30, 11, something like that, more than likely, when I come back here. So yeah, I'm gonna think about a topic to talk about when I come in, and then if you ain't doing nothing, just chime in, man. All right, bro. I'll holler at you.